Well, hello there, citizens of the Reject Nation. We are here today. We were originally going to watch Fantastic Beasts, which we will still get to, but we saw them comments. They want us to watch something I have never, ever seen. The Harry Potter reunion on Max. Never watched this. And you guys are requesting this like crazy. So we're like, all right, before we go to Fantastic Beasts, we should do that. Also, at this point in time, Tara and I have shot a podcast. So go check it out where we answered your questions that drove our podcast regarding Harry Potter. It's all like our after show of the Harry Potter reaction. So go check it out. It's important that we check in with how we are feeling, so that way we can be honest with ourselves and you guys during the reaction experience. So Tara, how are you feeling right now?
You know what? Today is the first day where I've had a little bit more energy and been able to get stuff done at a rate that I normally operate at, and that made me happy. And I'm excited to watch this. It's right up my alley. Y'all know I love reality, so yeah, I'm ready.
It's more like behind the scenes.
I know, but no, like this goes into like on my channel.
Sure.
I'm doing the reality stuff, and this is real. Okay, Greg has not slept in days per the usual.
Yeah, you know how it is. Today was a weird one. You know, the Harry Potter reactions. This is a fascinating subject to try to explain to people, where you don't want to make it all about the monetization side of things, because most of the Harry Potter reactions have been copyright claimed. What we do is we keep them private. They're edited, and we keep them private for several days. And so that way we get an opportunity like, all right, let's wait for a claim to come in or a block, and then we could solve it before we make it public. That's not how they operate. What they wait for is for it to be public, and then they go, all right, now that it's public, let's slap that claim on there. That way they can't do anything about it. Sometimes it leads to blocks, and this morning, it was the final Harry Potter movie, and I was on a chat with YouTube for like 90 minutes as someone online trying to solve it, and it took kind of the wind out of me. But that's kind of the magic of Harry Potter, is that in spite of the difficulties that YouTube presents itself, I can still come back to watching the thing and not be worried about the financial stuff that comes with it. You know,
right?
Like I can just do my job and absorb what we are watching without getting shrouded by the darkness that is the YouTuber struggles.
That's
of this
true.
stuff, you know.
But that's why we do need you on Patreon. That is one way you can help out.
Does
I know
help.
we always say that, but it really, really does help, because like we are giving you like content necessarily like for free, but it really just is just to keep us here all working to watch these things. It's not like we're going out doing blow and stuff. We're just trying to live. You know what I'm saying? So help us out when you can.
RejectNationShop.com as well. And I'll be honest, we create so many cool things over there, and it does help support the channel a lot, and we're proud of what we create. And talking about anything financially, you'd think after all these years I'd be comfortable. I am not. I am really not comfortable talking about it or being like, go support us. It makes me there are people who do far less and ask more and get more from people. And I am still here after so many years. Like, I still get uncomfortable to say it. So thank you to you guys who do support us in that way, because I am not fully comfortable. I have a hard time receiving that personally here, but I know it's more than just me. It's everyone here now. So that's more why I'm able to feel like more comfortable putting that voice out there. So thank you guys. I know we usually say that as the end part of the intro, but leave a like on this video. What do we do next?
Ring the bell, ring the bell.
And Reject Nation, like many of you, I can get obsessed with the world of Game of Thrones. It's got the characters, the politics, the danger. It's such a richly lived-in universe. And now with Game of Thrones Kingsroad, you don't just get to watch it. You get to live in it. This is a brand new action-adventure RPG set during Season 4 of the show, and it's available on both mobile and PC with seamless crossplay. You step into the shoes of heir to the House Tyre, a northern house caught in the web of alliances, betrayals, and political power plays across Westeros. Best part, you get to explore iconic locations like King's Landing, Castle Black, and The Wall, while building relationships with familiar faces like Jon Snow, Varys, Roose Bolton, Jaime, and Cersei Lannister. The story expands in the new show with new plots, hidden towns, and mythical beasts like ice spiders, griffins, and even a stormhorn unicorn. And combat is strategic and intense, with classes like Knight, Sellsword, and Assassin, each bringing unique weapons and playstyles. So whether you're dodging or countering in real-time battles, or teaming up with others in the Altar of Memories, this game is meant for players who want authentic world building and meaningful gameplay. And the best part, It's completely free to play with no pay-to-win mechanics, just pure gameplay, strategy, and story. So if you've ever wanted to experience Westeros from the inside, here's your chance. Pre-register now for Game of Thrones Kingsroad by clicking the link in the description box or pinned comment and claim your place in the Seven Kingdoms. Let's watch this, guys.
Let's do it.
Wow, we have waited 1 week for this 20-year reunion.
We're so lucky.
People waited so long for this. They were like, yeah, I waited a few days.
Oh, it looks so pretty there. Wow.
Wow, is this a commercial for England?
Thanks.
Hey, it's Haggard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's Neville. Holy shit, is he handsome?
Wow. Looks good.
This is 20 years later, right? That's what it said?
Yeah, 20,
That's
20
Hermione.
year.
I don't know the actor names anymore. Robbie Coltrane. Oh, he passed away. Did you know that?
He did?
Yeah.
Oh. Oh. An invitation. I love this music.
This is exciting.
Dun, 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 dun. And it's Christmas time.
From on the original sets.
Awesome. She's just going to run through the wall.
Is that a director? I don't know. Tom Felton. Gary Oldman's in this?
Oh my God, look at Jenny.
Actually, looks great.
Hey, girl.
Damn,
oh my
all
gosh.
three of them look amazing.
They look, I love her so much. Bonnie McCarter.
Who was the fortunate soul who directed this?
Uh-huh. Oh my God, this is cool. Are we going to go inside?
I like how Emma Watson's been kind of leading this.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this is awesome.
Wow, we watched all these in letterbox. This is full screen.
Oh, yeah.
It's like full
it
screen
is.
4K.
Yeah. Let's go.
Tom Felton.
Aww.
Wow. The end of the movie had him 19 years later, and he looks so much older in the movie than he does in real life.
Imagine being a dancer and they're like, we're going to hire you for the Harry Potter reunion. You'd be like, what?
Pretty incredible.
That's awesome.
Are these real reactions they're getting at people?
It looks like it.
Toby Jones. Man, he's turned out super duper handsome.
Yeah. He looks good.
Ray Fiennes.
Is he here?
Oh, damn, all the directors. Gary Oldman.
There he is.
This is an expensive reunion.
Daniel.
We still haven't seen him.
Hey, look at the twins. He dyed his hair.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's who it is.
Zoop.
There's no J.K. Rowling in this. I
Probably.
wonder why.
Yeah, for good reason, maybe. Ooh, I bet you he filmed this at Universal. Oh, no, this is the set. I was thinking Universal Studios.
He couldn't know that at this very moment, people meeting in secret all over the country were holding up their glasses and saying in hushed voices, "To Harry Potter, the boy who lived."
Wow, what it must be like to be Daniel Radcliffe.
Weird.
Dan! Hey, man, it's great to see you.
How you doing, dude?
How are you,
Oh, it's
mate?
so nice to see you.
Chris Columbus.
This is awesome.
This is incredible.
Yeah.
Last time we were here, you were shorter.
I'm just very, very slightly. That's kind of you to say. How did it come to you? Like, I would never get to ask this question. Like, how did you end up doing
Really?
it?
I ended up doing it because my daughter, Eleanor, convinced me to read the books after I refused 3 times.
Oh.
So once Prisoner of Azkaban came out, I
Thank you,
said,
Eleanor.
okay, I'll read these, finally. And then immediately I saw the movies. I just saw them.
Wow. All because of him.
Interesting.
Then I had to fly to Edinburgh to meet Joe Rowling and essentially said, this is my vision. She said, that's exactly the way I see the movie.
Wow.
Cool.
When the
That's
books
awesome.
came out, the queues of kids round the block. I mean, thousands of them all waiting for the latest one.
Yeah, I remember that phenomenon.
was right. That was wild.
It was daunting. That's why I didn't participate.
Fall in love with J.K.
I
Rowling's
was not
writing. I think I probably would have
participating
been
either.
about 8 years old.
God, she looks amazing.
Yeah, she looks great.
I think that's when the first one came out. It became like our family thing. My dad used to do all the voices, and my brother and I just became obsessed.
Really?
We would just beg him to keep going, and every
That's so
time we finish a chapter,
awesome.
be like, one more, please, just one more, please, one more.
Oh, what a fan.
Oh, they were
that's so
fans.
sweet.
A friend of mine at school had the first 2, and I went for a sleepover at his house. And he said, well, Philosopher's Stone's there on the bookshelf.
That's what it's called in the UK.
We just both sat there in silence, him reading Chamber of Secrets, me reading Philosopher's Stone. And that was it, really. I never looked back.
Oh.
Time of reading, and we instantly relate to Fred and George because there aren't many twins in literature.
The Chamber of Secrets was the first book that I sort of genuinely stayed up at night reading.
Oh.
Wow, I barely remember you in the movies.
Yeah.
It was so vivid, the characters so relatable.
It was such an intricately, perfectly designed universe.
Huh.
I think it's very easy to forget that at the time people were talking about like the death of reading.
She brought it back.
One of the many reasons I admire J.K. so much is that millions now read books who would never have lifted a book up in their lives.
That's true.
Power of writing.
That is true.
That kind of gave me goosebumps.
It's on the resurgence right now, too.
Yeah.
The search for Harry Potter was insane.
The new Harry Potter film are looking for children to play the 3 main roles in the multi-million-pound film.
Wow,
This
go
was an
back to
open
this.
call?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I remember going to the very first audition, and there was hundreds, if not thousands, of people.
It was thousands.
Oh my God.
And then we realised that we were the only set of twins there who weren't wearing identical clothing. So we ended up going over the road and bought 2 identical matching tops.
Smart.
Just off the rack. They were like, right, they will do. And then
Yeah.
off we went.
They'd let us all mill, sort of congregate.
Wow.
So they seemingly walked away. And of course, while there's still one gentleman holding a boom mic straight over our heads. And this little girl asked me, what's that? I think he even said, it's a mic, duh. I was like, they're filming us. This is just like a trick, like as if I'd done it before, really. And I remember it because it was Emma.
Oh, wow.
My God.
I always knew that I was going for Hermione in a way that I think terrified my parents because they were like, what are we going to do with her if she doesn't get the part?
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
I think the biggest pressure at the beginning was who was going to be Harry Potter.
Of
Yeah.
course. She is in this.
I was in my hotel room in London one night watching the BBC version of David Copperfield. Immediately a light bulb went off in my head and I said, this is Harry Potter. This is the kid we've been looking for.
Holy shit.
So I asked the casting director, I said, we've got to get him in here for an
That's
audition.
awesome.
She said, it's never going to happen. His parents do not want him involved in this world.
Oh my God, what?
I think the deal was to sign on for like all 7 films and they would be filmed in LA. So mum and dad were like, no, that's like a huge disruption to his life.
That's responsible.
Yeah.
These 2 guys in the row in front of me started sort of turning round.
David, being the great producer that he is, convinced Dan's father to bring Dan in for an audition, and that's basically when we got our Harry Potter.
Oh my God, the whole casting call, and then, oh my God, what?
That's what that is.
What is that?
Dragon egg.
I was a very happy kid who had a really haunted quality, apparently.
He's so cute.
You're really sweet, but you looked like you had real stuff going on.
Yes.
Very emotional, actually, seeing this kid sitting there talking, and I just thought, yeah, that's him. Thank God we found him.
Wow.
Rupert and Emma were very easy to cast because they felt like they jumped off the page. We screen tested the 3 of them together to make sure that they all had this chemistry.
Oh
My God, they
shit.
look like babies.
Guys, get closer to her as she finds out the information.
Look at her face when she's listening.
I never thought to look in here. I checked this out first term for a bit of light reading.
Get closer.
Filch comes round the corner any second now. At least 50 points off Gryffindor. I knew it. Here it is.
Oh, they are natural. They got closer for the camera.
Yep.
Zoom in. Oh, that's natural.
Don't. The what? Oh, honestly, don't you 2 read?
Oh my God, it's so good. Look at her face. She's so happy with herself.
It's lovely seeing you.
Yeah, this is surreal, isn't it?
How do we all feel being back and talking about this?
Really emotional.
This is
Whoa.
wild.
It feels like no time has passed and loads of time has passed simultaneously.
Kind of much the same. It's quite surreal. It doesn't feel like much time has passed. It doesn't feel like we've kind of earned a reunion yet. I have had kidney stones and a baby, so time has obviously passed.
You did mention that.
Oh, wow.
Our first audition, there was like me walking out of my dressing room and seeing like another like young brown-haired boy going the other way. I never saw his face, but I was like, you're clearly another Harry that is being tested out today.
Weird.
Yeah.
I remember there was one where they put all the three of us together.
I do remember that when it was the three of
That's
us,
amazing.
something felt different
Yeah.
and right
It's
and
like
easy.
lightning.
I do remember the click.
Chemistry, baby.
The click.
We're announcing you've got the parts. There is now going to be a lot of media outside your house, so you can't go home.
Whoa.
It's a little scary.
So far, it's sort of turned things upside down.
Oh my God.
I don't know, I've never had anything happen to me like this before.
No, will it happen to most people, man?
Yeah.
Hermione made complete sense to me. That's me. Like, I am that girl.
Wow.
Well, Emma was arguably the smartest person on the set.
She seems like it.
She was a brilliant kid.
I think I'm scarily like my character. So I live in a family of 7.
Oh, do you?
And I've got a red-headed sister.
Really?
I live in a burrow.
Live in a burrow.
Rupert is just the most camera-ready 12-year-old boy in the world at that point. Like, he was so, like, just fearless.
Yeah.
Rupert was Ron. Dan kind of was Harry.
How do you feel about becoming
That's easy casting.
Be cool.
It'd be cool.
It'd be cool.
We were all talking about this, how comfortable you made us all in our auditions. My memory of it is that it seemed effortless to you.
Well, on the first film, I was dying the entire time. I always believe you cannot bring that kind of anxiety. I want everyone to feel comfortable.
Yeah,
I want
true.
everyone to feel like it's
You gotta
a family.
bury it.
I want everyone to feel like they're home.
I could learn a lot from this man.
You could.
That's for sure.
Wow.
It's crazy to think of this on like the micro level it starts at.
Yeah. I mean, they're all so little.
I want you to raise your hand over the broom.
The first several weeks on the film, the kids are basically in shock.
I'm sure.
The fact that I wasn't ever, like, completely overwhelmed by it.
I'm overwhelmed watching.
Yeah.
But I also think that was, again, part of Chris and the whole crew, just like, they kept us having fun the whole time.
That's good.
And we were all looking forward to mucking about together. Chris Columbus made the atmosphere very much like a fun fair.
Oh, that's good.
My residing memory from Philosopher's Stone is I just learned how to play slam.
You know what we did a lot of as well was that
Oh
game.
my God, so
Slaps.
much hand slaps.
Yeah.
Slaps.
What is slaps?
Red, like
Yeah.
red,
I think
raw
we also
hands,
upgraded
like,
to knuckles
hitting
as
each
well,
other
and we're like-
really hard.
Oh, and shins.
Yeah.
I remember the shin
What is
version.
shins? I don't know that.
Sorry, I've got to get you back.
No. Oh, damn,
Oh,
it's a
no,
very
that's
different
not, nope, different. I don't know what
They
it
made their
is.
jobs harder for themselves by letting us have as much fun as we had
Yeah.
because it distracted us from, you know, the work we were supposed to be doing.
How are you going to rile them all up to work?
But it builds chemistry.
Yeah, true.
Throughout
You're
a take,
gonna ruin your
our
makeup.
attention would wane and come and go.
I'm sure.
Easily distracted.
Where they were just so happy to be in a Harry Potter film that they couldn't contain their excitement long enough to focus on an entire scene.
Oh, wow. That must have been so hard.
Columbus had worked with kids a lot, and he was terrific with them. He really was. He used to go down on his knees to talk to them.
He was such a dad as well. Like, and you could really feel that, like, we were kind of part of his family.
Interesting.
We'll just be talking. All right, you know what I'm saying?
I would have gone to jail for hitting children.
Of course, he could use it.
Yeah, I don't know how he did it with all of those kids.
But it's not easy because it takes a tremendous amount of patience with kids, particularly with kids as hyperactive and
Totally.
as excitable as we all were.
Like to get them all together to focus on a scene, that I don't know.
Snuck away. Couple of Gryffindors. Look kicking it.
Come here.
They're actually buddies.
You might get like 3 people to do the right thing, but it doesn't mean you're going to get the other 5 in the background doing the right thing.
No, and Rupert was relentless.
Oh, wow.
But I just think that's why it worked, wasn't it? Because Columbus basically just let us be kids.
True.
I never recall feeling like we're working.
Wow.
Yeah. That's why it feels that way when you watch it.
How do they have that much time?
Waiting around on set for them to set up.
I guess.
The British acting industry and not having a clue who anyone is. I thought Richard Harris worked here as a tour guide.
Oh, that's great. He thought he worked here.
That's so funny.
It was Snape, which means he knows how to get past Fluffy. And with Dumbledore
It's true from the child's perspective, yeah.
The British
You
royalty
don't
of the
appreciate it.
acting world.
Yeah, royalty is true.
When I think of the people that I got to just grow up around and hear them interact and hear the quickness of people.
The adult actors came in and were like the mischief in a funny way.
That's actually great.
Like Robbie Coltrane.
He was such a kid, like, so immature. Just so much fun.
He loved making us laugh, and he was incredibly good at it.
I tried absolutely everything. My husband is threatening to leave me. If he really loved me, he wouldn't mind a little facial hair, I'm sure, but he's being very, very difficult.
That like kindness and that warmth from you, it made all the difference. Well, we spent so much time together.
I know.
Glad they have this in here.
No, I spent more time with you than I did with my own children.
I know.
Oh, wow, yeah. I bet that's true.
I think most of my favourite scenes, if I'm honest, looking back, are with you and the gang in Hagrid's hut.
Yeah.
You're thinking about that scene where I get called a mudblood.
Yes.
And you were so sweet with me that day. Because it was
Yes.
like my first, big piece of acting.
Chamber of Secrets. No.
Only a mudblood.
No, not. I think it's first one.
What's a mudblood?
It means dirty blood.
No, it's Chamber of Secrets.
Foul name for someone who is muggle-born. Someone with non-magic parents. Someone like me.
Great job.
I don't remember which one it is.
I think it's like 2 or 3. They look
It's
older.
definitely 2 or 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta have
Adamant that
be as
Hogwarts
detailed as
shouldn't feel
Disneyland.
as if it's a world that couldn't exist in reality.
They nailed that.
Tremendous amount of creative freedom, so we could build this world from the ground up.
It's so amazing how much freedom he had. That's why it's so good.
Very first time I visited the set, they walked me through the Great Hall, which was mind-blowing.
They didn't keep her. She doesn't interact with anyone. She's by herself.
We're gonna keep you over here.
Plastic floor down, it's got to be the real stuff. And all these lit candles going up and
Amazing.
down wires.
That's what we kept talking about when we watched the first one, was how everything was practical. It was exciting.
One of my favourite moments on set ever was the moment when all the floating candles started burning through the ropes that tied them to the ceiling and just started falling around the Great Hall.
Wow, they were real candles. That's so cool.
So much of that would be visual effects now. The fact that we
Of
got to
course it
actually
was.
be on
So
that
true.
set.
So cool.
Thank you,
That's
Stuart Craig.
amazing.
Yeah.
God, how much work that would take. That gives me goosebumps that was practical. But they would never do that today. And that would have been just such an amazing thing to see.
The hardest scene to shoot was Quidditch, and the audience had to understand the rules immediately.
Yeah, that's a hard one.
Joe Rowling basically did a rule book for us, a Quidditch rule book,
Oh, wow.
explaining every detail of the game.
Oh my God.
Then, with Stuart Craig, our production designer, design the look of the Quidditch pitch and really create a pitch that felt authentic and real for a game that is completely unreal.
Unreal.
That is true. They did make it very attainable. It's easy to take a lot of this for granted.
Exactly.
The camera pushes into you and you say, we're not going home, not really.
Feels strange to be going home, doesn't it? I'm not going home, not really.
Not really.
I got tears, I still get tears in my eyes thinking about it.
So good.
I thought, this kid is an amazing actor. And it was that moment.
Learning to receive that, damn.
Yeah.
Storybook. It's very inviting.
Yeah,
like,
it's lovely. And
welcome to Hogwarts until you get to the end of the movie.
And I melt a man's face.
Yes.
So cool.
First film was a hit.
Yep.
So once it became a hit and people accepted not only the film but accepted the cast.
Right, yeah.
I had a ball on the second.
I was going to say, that was one of the things I wrote down. I think he refined and got so much better on the second one because
Yes.
all that anxiety you had with the first one, you could actually have fun with this one. 'Cause, yeah, he's going to hit the insurmountable amount of pressure, man.
I'm sure. I mean, he
Yeah.
was meant to make 7 books come to life. If he thought of all 7, that's just an extreme amount of pressure.
You have to become the pilot for this to
For a
establish the
huge universe.
foundation of how things will grow from. That's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chamber of Secrets is amazing.
I always loved any scene where the kind of Weasleys were all together, like the burrow scenes. It just had this frenetic energy.
I love
Everyone
those.
kind of played off each other.
Oh, they brought the burrow back to life.
I feel like being a Weasley is the best part of being in Harry Potter. We had like our Hogwarts family, but I felt like so special having an actual extra.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Julie Walters, who played my mother, Mrs. Weasley, was just so wonderful and brilliant to me.
She passed away.
Kind of took me under her wing, and she just was like the perfect mother figure.
The twins were two people that I was really close with. They really were like older brothers. They would bounce off each other.
Dumbledore must...
Cool.
Oh dear. Dumbledore must know you're here, Harry.
Doesn't work. I see that. You guys look great. How are you?
This is amazing. How you guys doing?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
Good.
Wow, the first father.
This is so exciting.
Yeah.
It's the first time I've been back since Azkaban.
We didn't know you were going to come back. The Weasley family values consideration.
Yeah.
It's just very natural when we were all together. It was a family, you know, I mean, in all but name.
Oh.
Cool thing about it as well is that you see that motion where they are very inclusive, and then you see the complete opposite with the Malfoys.
I never actually did that. That's true.
Yeah. It's more distant.
Mr. Potter, Lucius Malfoy.
He would beat Draco.
I'm convinced I ended up playing Lucius because I didn't want to. I went to audition for Gilderoy Lockhart, and Chris said, that was great. Would you mind reading a different part?
Oh, yeah, you got the darkness, man.
And I thought, well, I don't want to play two children's villains. And I read through Gritted Teeth.
Teeth.
I was deeply bitter. And, of course, that's exactly what was necessary. And they asked me to play Lucius. And
Oh, my God. I love that he did not want it.
the point of him being in the story, to me, was to explain why Draco was such a horrible, heartless, sadistic bully at school.
Yeah.
It did do that.
If Hagrid was your first influence, chances are you're going to be all right there, mate. You're going to be lovely and very huggy.
Not a bad impression.
Yeah.
Isn't he beautiful? Oh, bless him. Look, he knows his mummy.
Aww.
If your dad is a psychopath wielding a cobra cane out about, you're probably not going to be the friendliest geezer.
Geezer.
Tom, remember, and slow, telling a tale, it's sinister, soft.
Ooh.
I adored Tom from the second I met him, but he was always just...
Damn, that confident direction.
So good.
Biggest sweetheart.
Working with Jason was a real treat. In fact, working with Jason was not always a treat. Just immediately turned into the most unfriendly, horrible person I've ever met.
Lovely.
The very first scene that I shot was actually cut and it's on the deleted scenes.
Whoa.
Didn't touch anything, Draco.
But I didn't know how sharp the teeth were. And they went right into little Tom's hands.
Oh, God.
He looked up at me and his eyes welled with tears. And I went, Tom, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize how sharp they were and how heavy it was. And he went, no, it's all right. It's good for the scene.
Oh, my God.
And he'll come and give you a cuddle and say, oh, did I hit you too hard? Did I hit you too hard? He's real, Jekyll and Hyde.
That's hilarious.
He was just doing it for the scene.
Harry Potter.
You said that's your mom?
Yeah.
Those are your exact words, right?
Yep.
I've got this part, it's an elf in Harry Potter, and the squeals of joy.
Oh my God,
didn't know
Toby
it was
Jones
him.
plays him all this time. Did not know.
Oh, my God.
Swung my leg out. And I stepped down and I swung my stick. And Chris goes, cut, can we clean the floor where Jason slipped, please? And I said, no, I didn't slip. What happened? And I said, I kicked Dobby down the stairs.
Oh, my God. It's so, I hated that part so much.
I just thought, this is going to be ridiculously good fun.
Oh, wow.
You wonder why you were cast as
He
him.
was not directed. It was his choice to do
and
that.
the visual effects had to roll with it.
Yep.
Wow, so there wasn't like a ball there or something?
Master has presented Dobby with clothes. Dobby is free.
One of the major themes is this alliance of friends who endure.
Yeah. Second movie, baby.
Had one of our greatest laughs together with Richard Harris, and we had a animatronic version of Fox the Phoenix.
Cool.
Awesome.
Richard came in and looked at the Phoenix and said, wow, they train these animals marvelously these days.
Oh my God, I love it.
They could see Richard looking at it, and then they were like, well, we don't want to break the spell, so we'll just keep the bird reacting and moving. And then that, of course, you know, got into a cycle where Richard was like, the bird is responding to me.
Oh my God.
I don't think you ever get enough credit for like what you achieved on those first two and with all of us.
I'm so fucking glad he said that.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So thank you so much.
It's been the greatest experience of my life.
He started it.
People forget. I forget. Damn, that's crazy. It did start with this guy.
Yeah, he brought it to life.
I'm glad Daniel Radcliffe specifically pointed that out.
Yeah.
It means more that he pointed it out than anyone else.
Coming of age.
Prisoner of Azkaban, still my favorite.
Hello.
Oh.
When Harry meets him and through the course of the third film, he comes to learn that he's not who he has been told he was. He's somebody very different.
This guy makes the most money out of everyone.
Gary is such a remarkable actor. One of the reasons we chose him is he obviously has the potential for darkness. He has such soul and has such a warmth.
Yeah, true.
People were telling me to read the books, and I had kids, so it was going to be in my universe somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
They were taking a slightly darker approach, and the book was interesting. I met Alfonso, and I think at the time he was the main attraction.
Alfonso.
For Azkaban, it's a coming of age. They are passing the threshold between childhood and their teenage years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the first two, Harry is still a child. There is a greater optimism around the tone itself.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, when he turns 13, there's a big cloud that overshadows everything around Harry.
Everyone turning 13.
We needed to convey that also stylistically.
Couldn't pay me to go back to that age.
This is the best looking one, man.
Oh, yeah.
I love this one so much.
Stylized and yeah.
This one's incredible. I mean, they're all incredible, but in their own right. But this one is something that we just go with this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Prisoner of Azkaban felt like a whole new era, really.
It redefined it, man. Took it down a new path.
It was a much darker kind of story. There was a lot of kind of quite adult themes in it.
Sure, yeah.
J.K. Rowling's has of the Dementors are very scary.
Mm-hmm.
I really wanted to convey the sense that the Dementors, what they do is they suck all the joy away.
Mm.
They were sucking an essence of Harry. But I think that the most important piece to achieve that was Dan's performance.
Oh, you achieved that.
When was Azkaban? How old were you?
14.
Really?
Really?
First met.
Yeah.
I think I had a natural sort of paternal thing.
Oh, you look a little older.
I remember you giving me the Gary chat. Right. Yeah, you were like, listen, Emma, you need to be cool.
Which was really a projection of my own fears, because I was like, Dan, you need to be cool. This guy's a big deal.
I would watch a whole uncut conversation with him. Too.
As a person, but also as an actor, and immediately embrace him and include him in the acting process.
Wow.
It was really sweet to see the two of them.
They did have amazing chemistry.
Harry has made a totem out of Sirius Black. That totem that is kind of unapproachable and in many ways scary.
Yeah.
That was not unlike in the film, that when they discover who they truly are is when suddenly there's an amazing bond.
Right.
Between takes, sitting with each other, talking and laughing, you could see in the way that Dan looked at Gary the adulation.
Order of Phoenix.
All the stuff in the Shrieking Shack at the end, I feel like me, Ruben, and we're just like watching tennis in that scene, just being like, this is acting, guys. This is what we all need to be working towards.
It's so good.
It's just funny, especially like a 14-year-old.
Totally.
And it was so much fun. It's an intense scene in which a lot of things are at stake.
No! Yeah, a lot of things happen.
It's like a play. It's a mini play.
Yeah.
See Rupert and Emma and Dan, that they are completely committed to the scene. I love it. I have such a great memory of it.
Wow.
He's painted as this villainous guy, and then has the switch where you go, oh, he was set up, and he's a good guy.
Right.
You know, we only ever found out book.
Yeah, book.
I don't know whether you were, because you were Harry Potter, you had a...
Because they released 3.
Wow.
They started filming 3, was only 3 was out.
He had the inside line.
Rickman had the inside line.
He very, very early said to Joe, he was like, I think I need to know what happened.
Wow.
We read that in the trivia, yeah. Oh, that's where it must come from.
Yeah.
Rickman would have an in, wouldn't he?
Did, yeah. And he never told Chris, never told anyone. Chris would literally say to him, why are you doing that like that? He said, I'll tell you later.
Oh, I love that. That's right. Yeah, that's like so good.
Yeah, you'll find out.
Yeah.
On a need-to-know basis.
So good.
Wait a decade. Wait a decade.
Alfonso was like, now you're teenagers, and I'm going to treat you like a teenager.
Man, Alan Rickman passed before they filmed this.
He wanted to get to know us, so he set us this exercise where he
God,
asked us
what?
to write an essay in character.
Oh my God, I love it.
He was like, you know these characters at this point better than I'm ever going to be able to understand who they are, so you tell me.
Awesome.
Smart.
Chloe's written a good 500 pages about this, but I feel like this one pretty much sums it up. Great, okay, yeah, cool, proud of that, bring that in.
Of course, Emma writes like 12 pages.
Oh my God, I love it. Amazing.
Rupert didn't deliver anything.
Really?
Oh, no.
He didn't do it.
And I said, Rupert, where's your assignment? It says, well, I thought that Ron wouldn't do it.
Luckily, Alfonso kind of saw that it was very in character for me not to have done it.
That is hilarious.
Rupert is Ron.
Oh my God. He got out of it.
Emma is just such an effortless actor.
Yeah.
She prepares a lot.
Effortless does not mean no effort, though.
Sirius Black finds a redemption by having Harry understanding who he truly is. And all of this is conveyed symbolically in the two of them flying in the night under the silver moon.
I love how he can still talk about the movie as if he just
As if it
filmed
was yesterday. Yeah.
Like he remembers the experiences.
More than any other experience. You never have that in the movies because you'd work with a bunch of people and you get friendly with them and then most of them you would never see again.
Yeah.
But with Potter, you would come back and...
Especially for him.
Yeah.
Amongst many things, what made it very special.
Yeah, it just feels like, being in these, you get to be a part of film history.
Oh, undoubtedly. What it must be like when you're a new director. You're like, hey, I'm the new captain of the family.
Yeah.
Remember seeing the Beauxbatons come and do their entrance and the Durmstrangs. It was really cool.
That's awesome.
Mike is just this excited, loud, passionate man. He was a perfect director for that film. It was a really bombastic, action-packed, wonderful, eccentric film.
Yeah.
Like he was great. I mean, he was almost like he was from the books.
Yeah, really a great way to put it. Yeah, my God, yeah.
Fourth book is the biggest of them. It's about 900 pages. It's a doorstop.
900 pages.
Dang.
You get so excited by things, and there was this kind of really endearing, childlike quality to him.
Huh.
Things changed when Columbus left. It was definitely a bit of a different...
it was a different vibe.
It's like,
Mike treated us like adults.
Yeah. He's probably like, be quiet and work.
We were doing the scene when Fred and George are rejected from entering the Triwizard Tournament, and then we had these wigs on and beards on, what looked like old men. And I think you guys would be really annoyed with each other. I think you should have a fight about this.
These two were sort of
it's not in the book,
pressing
huh?
about at it.
Pressing about.
And I said, no, come on, boys, really, it's a fight.
Mike just came over and said, no.
Oh, wow.
Okay, who wants to fight?
Like an idiot. I was like, oh, yeah, okay.
Well, of course, I was a tubby 60-year-old gent at that stage.
Yeah, you look a lot thinner here, man.
And so he dived on me and just went like this, to which I said, oh, okay. So I did the same to him.
I remember gripping him round the waist and trying to fling him about and so forth, and cracked a couple of ribs.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God.
Everybody felt much better for that.
You know when you shouldn't break a director's rib?
Well, he shouldn't have lopped onto the actor. You could just tell him to fight better.
You would get sued today.
Yeah.
Or something like that. You would be
You
all over
absolutely
Twitter.
would.
Teenagers, having crushes for the first time, asking someone to the date, to the Yule Ball. They just mirrored all those kind of awkward phases.
It's weird. She looks so pretty, but because she's an adult, I think she looks so freaking pretty right now.
She looks so what?
Pretty.
Yeah.
I reject all a level of attraction. I'm like, I don't know how old they are.
She sent me this many kisses back. What do I do? This is a nightmare.
We had that kind of older brother, younger sister thing.
It was a very interesting film in terms of a lot of hormones flying around.
Oh, yeah. Let's get some juice. Let's get the juice.
Oh, yeah.
There was crushes and people went out with each other and broke up and just like you're doing, just like I used to do at school.
Oh, wow.
Where's the gossip?
It was exactly the same environment, but it was just in a defense against the dark arts class.
Oh, wow.
I mean, this was their class. This was their school.
Yeah.
That film was probably peak hormone, at least for me.
And it's funny because it's reflective in the movie.
And especially like the fourth film was the one with like the Beauxbatons and the Durmstrangs. So like you had a bunch of like hormonal teenagers anyway, and then like bring in two massive groups of new people. All of them are like purposefully hot for the film.
Yeah. I bet it was like...
Why do they have to travel in packs? He is just like a slightly awkward teenage boy in a very unremarkable way.
So good.
I feel like it did not take a huge acting stretch for me to tap into my awkward nerdy teenage side.
Right, which is great.
Yes.
I just think maybe you want to go to school with me.
That is true. This is the one where I felt like I related the most with them.
Totally.
It obviously was a coming-of-age story. Big sequences was the Christmas ball.
Oh, yeah. The Yule Ball.
The scene when the students are learning to dance, it was pretty much like a typical school dance of that age. You've got girls on one side, boys on the other.
Yeah, it's awkward as shit.
Yeah, totally.
Don't let crotches touch.
Yeah.
Maggie's right in the middle, and she says, right, I'm going to teach you to dance. Of course, she picks Rupert, and she says...
Place your right hand on my waist.
Was this improvised or something?
The kid's 14 and he knows how to get a laugh. It's great.
It must be.
The way he's talking about it.
Weirdly, I felt quite self-conscious about it. I didn't really know. I'd never danced with a lady before, so it was kind of a very new thing.
If that what was improvised, it's amazing.
And yeah, of course, the James and Oliver twins, they were constantly kind of ribbing me.
We were winding him up. We were winding up anyway
before we started
filming.
They kind of convinced me before we filmed it that there was this whole like dance routine planned.
We were like, do you know your steps?
Oh my God, so you're probably so nervous. Oh my God.
No, you know, the routine. Like, we've all been doing a routine for like the past 6 weeks. Or
Everyone's their character.
Build the pressure.
That is so, it's awful.
Everyone
It's
except
awful.
the villains are their characters.
Eventually. Understood.
Oh, that's awkward as shit. I'd be so nervous. I'd be panicking.
Enchanting Days was the great ball because there was all these incredibly beautiful young people, perfectly dressed.
With really wide lapels and long sort of tails, and yeah, you didn't feel cool at really any point in that.
Actually, I kind of loved it. It was very Weasley.
Yeah, it was perfect.
I pulled it off. Not a lot of people could pull it off.
Emma obviously looked beautiful and was in an incredible dress, and me and Rupert looked like, I don't know, Austin Powers mates or something hanging out to the side.
She looks beautiful. I think for the first time, Harry and Ron, particularly Ron, Hermione as a young woman.
Yeah.
Not just this kind of sidekick that they each have.
I mean, everyone can kind of relate to that. That's what I kind of love about these stories is they sit so parallel to everyone's life.
That's true, man.
Yeah.
Like the first school dance.
Robert Pattinson.
Those kind of emotions, the anxieties, insecurities.
I knew it was a big deal, and I was miserable. I just knew it was the like duckling becomes a swan moment.
Yeah.
Your arms are swinging too much. You're walking too quickly. You need to walk slower. He's giving me a million different directions about how to walk down the stairs, and of course, I fell down the stairs.
Oh God.
I'm not a dancer and I will never be able to dance. Yeah, I feel like I'm pretty rigid in that dance scene.
I wonder for those actors would must be like, oh my God, I'm going to dance with Hermione. I'm going
Right.
to dance with Harry Potter.
You're
That'd be-
probably a shock.
I would be, yeah, maybe as a kid too.
Emma and I have always loved each other, really.
Did you guys have a
into
thing
the
go
room
on?
where we were having tutoring. The assignment that had been given was to draw what you thought God looked like.
Okay.
That was your class?
And Tom had drawn a girl with a backward cap on a skateboard. I just don't know how to say it. I just fell in love with him.
Oh my God.
think I was in the hair and makeup chair, and someone said something along the lines of, yeah, she had a crush on you.
He used to come in every day and look for his number on the call sheet.
Oh my
It was
God.
number 7. And if his number was on the call sheet, it was an extra exciting day. He was 3 years above me. And so for him, he was like, you're like my little sister.
Right.
I became very protective over her. Yeah, I've always had a soft spot for her, and that continues to the day.
I think really the truth of it was Tom was the one that I could often be more vulnerable with.
Really? Wow.
There's always been something that's like, I don't know, a kinship.
Nothing has ever happened romantically with us. We just love each other.
Wow. I
all I can say
love
about
that. Oh my God, that's insane to me.
Oh my
Him
God.
being Draco, freaking Malfoy, and then she's like, he's the one I got the most vulnerable with. That's
Shock.
wild.
He should have married her. She probably makes more money. He would get a lot of money if they divorced.
In the Goblet of Fire, the universe shifts, and
Oh my God, the casting of Ray Fiennes.
Voldemort.
We haven't seen Ray Fiennes yet. That's true.
He who must not be named.
I cast Ray Fiennes because he's one of the most potent actors of his generation.
Wow, Mike Newell cast him, huh?
A great
Damn,
force,
that's important
this
as
kind
shit.
of delicate, subtle force of personality.
My sister has children who are then around 10, 11, 12.
Uh-huh.
I said, Martha, I don't know about this Harry Potter thing. Voldemort, what's that? What? You're being asked to play Voldemort? You've got to do it!
Of course.
Awesome.
It was when I was shown some drawings and design ideas for the look.
Oh, amazing.
I wasn't expecting that.
Oh.
Oh,
wow.
Jesus.
Wow, that's a strong look.
Oh, God.
I didn't feel Voldemort was that human. I felt he was the essence of
Yeah.
evil. I know he's been human, but he's become a snake-like thing.
Man, the fact that this is CGI is incredible.
So there was the voice, the sort of snake-like
Yeah.
whispered, husky, something like that, I suppose. A sort of whispering voice. Breath on the breath. Harry Potter.
Oh, wow.
I already want to watch these again.
Wow.
Rafe wanted to be ultimately evil and otherworldly.
What an amazing choice.
He does have a nose, and he was covered in stickers, so he was slightly less intimidating than on screen, except when they called action. And for some reason, I was terrified of him.
And then he comes for you.
It took about 3 hours in makeup, the painting of the hands, the nails, the teeth.
Wow.
And even with my nose, I felt strong. It felt powerful. It felt evil.
Wow.
That makeup on CGI nose is phenomenal.
I agree.
One of the people that you assume is going to be very important in the story is Cedric Diggory. In that confrontation, Cedric is killed.
Yeah.
Harry, he manages to take the body and crash land back at the end of the competition. And Cedric Diggory's father believes that his son has won.
Yeah, it was a heartbreaking shot.
God, it was so sad.
Then he realizes that the kid is dead and he howls like a dog.
Yeah, it was heartbreaking as hell.
Suddenly, something completely unexpected and serious happens.
Yep.
And suddenly, you realize that this movie is not about life, it's about death.
Mm-hmm.
That's a scene I remember really distinctly going like, oh, these are kids' films, but my God, there's some challenging stuff in there.
Yeah. Gets very adult.
The moment of Cedric Diggory's death is the moment when the series comes of age, and now the children have left childhood.
Yeah, it's nothing like a defining moment for a young person, damn.
And are going to have to confront the perils of adulthood,
Yeah.
and it all comes from that moment of death.
Transition.
Cedric Diggory was murdered by Lord Voldemort.
The three of them, they're in adversity, and that forges friendships, as we know.
True.
Surprised by how limited J.K. Rowling is on this.
Yeah, right.
But it's surrounded by a team of people who really understand the material, though, on such a potent level. Damn.
In spite of all the temptation you have endured, all the suffering, you remain pure of...
This is a damn good reunion documentary making of video, man. It's really good.
It's awesome.
It's incredibly engaging. Holy shit, yeah. It's inspiring. It really is.
Aww.
If you let
let's do this in your house.
I know, it's so nice.
I'll go down the right, you go down the left.
And let's race, okay? On your mark, set, go.
Oh, God.
Helen Bonham Carter is so great.
Oh, she's so playful.
She is.
All of them are.
Yeah.
Must be that British
They all have
attitude.
like a lively.
Yeah.
Last night, I thought, I'm going to just dig up these things, and I asked for your autograph.
Oh, God, what did I write?
Look, read it out. It's so nice to see you.
It's crazy. It's just so villainous.
Yeah.
Pleasure being your co-star and coaster. Wow. In the sense that I always ended up holding your coffee. I do love you.
Then what does it say?
What does it
He's
say?
cringing.
Oh my God.
I said, I do love you, and I just wish I'd been born 10 years earlier. I might have been in with a chance.
Oh.
But thanks for being cool.
Isn't it nice? No, I shall always treasure that.
Thank you.
That is in my toilet, Dan.
Oh, I love it.
I've always noticed that British actors know how to have so much more looseness and fun.
I agree.
And in between takes are way less serious generally.
Right. I wish I had that. But
American
normally when
actors.
I'm on set, they
Yeah.
so cut, and I'm like, all right, I gotta wait over here till the next
she's
one.
done literally nothing to these in terms of cleaning.
No, these are actual relics.
Oh my God.
But
You're just going to put them, right in your mouth, yeah? Okay, in they go.
Oh.
Remember me?
I remember this is, yeah. There's like a playfulness to
There was
her,
the
which is like
playfulness.
even more disturbing.
Yeah.
So I had to sort of construct a reason for why she should hurt people and why
Mm.
she is desensitized. It makes her feel powerful.
Mm.
Whoa, solid ass editing. God damn.
Bellatrix was just this wild thing that was uncontrollable.
You can never really know what's going to come out of her mouth next. Very exciting for an actor because it's like whatever she did on that take does not mean she's going to do the same on the next.
Oh, wow. I love it.
She just allowed to do anything she wanted. She could cackle, she could jump up and down, calm down, and say whatever she wanted, and just not knowing, not trying to keep her in.
Yeah, she's a wild card.
Does it off, blood? It's not right, it's just a curious lad, aren't you? I kept on wanting to go, shut up.
I love that. She kept them on their toes, man.
You fell into the veil. What was it? The veil?
Yeah, I go through the veil. Then there was speculation of, does he come back? No, you can't.
No, you can't.
It was so quick.
I'm surprised they didn't cover the death of when he said, good one, James, or whatever. That music really makes that scene feel very different.
Yeah.
A more fun go spooky.
Yeah.
And when you came in, by that point, I was like 15, 16.
Yeah.
So like you and Gary and David would
Yeah.
treat us more like adults. I loved it.
That makes a lot of sense.
I was like kind of ready to be like, can you push me? Like we want to
Yeah,
try
yeah.
and be actors too.
I love that.
By the time we get to Order of the Phoenix, the world is becoming more political, and I felt we needed a director who could handle that in an entertaining way.
The man who would direct everything.
He was just such a sweet, kind of gentle guy that really cared so much about all of these characters.
I have no idea what he looks like.
Well, now you know.
I went into Order of the Phoenix with the young actors in mind and sort of thinking about how we sort of grow the whole thing up and make it a little bit more adult and sort of thematic, a little darker.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was so dread
I think
heavy.
this is the one where I said they do get adult-like. Like they leave their...
One thing that David and the studio spoke to me about was Emma is not sure she wants to come back.
Wow.
To do another Potter.
Wow,
Really?
that's massive.
What?
I remember us learning
Wonder
that.
why.
I like that we're getting these stories.
People definitely forget what she took on and how gracefully she did it. Darren and Rupert, they had each other. I had my cronies.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Emma was not only younger, she was
Oh,
by herself.
Yeah.
I did find a diary entry that was kind of like,
Oh.
I can see that at times I was lonely.
Yeah.
Of course.
Because we were all just kids. As a 14-year-old boy, I was never going to turn around to another 14-year-old and be like, hey, how you doing? Like, is everything okay?
Right. That's not how it worked then.
I don't know if you ever felt like it got to a tipping point when you were like, this is kind of forever now.
Yeah, no, I had moments like that.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of all the way through. I also had kind of similar feelings to Emma.
Oh, yeah, man, Chinese theater.
Kind of contemplating what life would be like if I called it a day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we never really spoke about it. I guess we were just kind of going through it at our own pace. We were kind of in the moment. It just didn't really occur to us that we were all kind of probably having similar feelings.
Yeah, that must be so hard as a teenager going through all of that.
The fame thing had finally hit home in a big way.
That's
Took
really
a lot
hard.
of movies to get there, huh?
No one had to convince me to see it through. The fans genuinely wanted you to succeed, and you all genuinely have each other's backs.
Fans really did come through, yeah.
How great is that?
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. Especially because she felt so lonely and at such an age where you change a lot.
I'm just very proud to be a part of something that means so much to so many.
Yeah.
My son, Billy, we used to watch them every night. You know, if he got the Sunday night blues, was watching a Potter movie. That was his safe place.
I'm really looking forward to watching the films.
I love that.
I was writing to J.K. Rowling since I was about 11 years old to say thank you to her, to say...
Wow.
I would find life a bit hopeless without Harry Potter. Luckily for me, she read
my
the letter
So
and
perfectly,
responded to it.
the protagonists are
She
perfectly cast.
responded to it?
So I'm one of the very lucky few people who can say J.K. Rowling was my pen friend.
No
Oh my
way.
God!
That's wild.
The first part of the audition is this crazy open call. Literally anyone can come.
No experience necessary.
We fly, of course.
And there would be thousands of people lining up.
Wow.
I remember him talking to me, and I kept forgetting that I have to talk back to him because I'm so used to watching him on a screen. And I kind of think that contributed to the whole Luna Lovegood vibe because she is a bit spacey.
Yeah. Wow. Probably accidentally.
And then he found this secret world of oddbods, of misfits, of people who had this strange power but who still had enormous humanity and depth and vulnerability.
Mm-hmm.
So it was quite liberating to see your oddness as a superpower represented on screen.
Ah, yeah.
Damn. I never thought about that. That's so true, though.
Yeah.
I was not good at school.
You'd be better off with Goshawk's Guide to Herbology. I didn't have a huge amount of friends.
Which way you going, Longbottom?
Oh.
I think it's great to be a misfit, and I think that's possibly why it's so popular.
We ride at dawn.
It's a great relief of loneliness, I think.
I was quite a shy kid. I could relate to that kind of feeling of not quite knowing what your place is.
Well, also as a kid, you're in like an alt school.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone felt more like they belonged by witnessing these characters that didn't belong.
Yeah. Love that.
Irony, but so true.
Bonnie was kind of, when she arrived, she was only 9, maybe.
Mummy, have you seen my jumper?
Yes, it was on the cat.
Her eyes. It's so great.
Ginny, Harry, that relationship, how that kind of slowly developed, and entangling with it the whole Weasley family, and Harry essentially becoming a Weasley himself.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, there is this kind of pressure, you know, this is the loved sort of hero of the story.
Yeah.
Everyone on this set has known you for about 6 or 7 years and they watched you grow up. And they're now going to just watch you kiss.
Yeah.
Bonnie and Ivana and Katie, they've all become these incredible activists. Every single one of those girls was like a lovely, great human being.
Wow.
I tell you, I've missed your company.
Did you? Oh, thank you.
That's for sure.
Did you get anything? Because I stole quite a lot.
Didn't I
should have
learn
told
that.
you.
I'm quite reassured by that because I was
You should
definitely
steal stuff.
trying to steal my wand.
Mm.
One time it did happen with me, and they said, okay, this time we are going to blow up Hogwarts.
Oh, yeah, you got to do it, didn't you?
Oh, that's so cool.
We will take your cue.
Yeah.
When you do your spell, it will blow up.
Oh, my God.
And I was
Cool.
actually really surprised. And
What an honor.
it was this horrible thrill of power.
Uh-huh.
Just pointing my wand there, and then it
boom.
blew up.
Yeah, it's a lot more satisfying than you know, making a feather levitate.
The child who hasn't received affection, the enabling love of the parent or the adult, can develop this anger and hatred at the world and goes to the dark side.
Damn. Ralph Fiennes is the one explaining this.
What Draco's journey is to do with whether he is or isn't trying to please his father.
Yeah.
Don't you understand? I have to do this. I have to kill you. He's gonna kill me.
What's great with Half-Blood Prince was you suddenly took this bad guy who in the previous films had always been somewhat two-dimensional.
Yeah, now he has a whole other dimension.
And then we were able to give him the opportunity to explore a far more complex and interesting journey.
That movie really did do that for him. That is 100% true.
I remember David Yates saying, if we can get just 1% of empathy or sympathy for him, then we'll have done our job.
Yeah. And we did. They did do that.
Draco breaks the chains of this terrible family, of his responsibility and what he's expected to do.
He does break the cycle, huh?
And to watch Tom create that struggle on screen and really manifest all that nuance, all that complication, all that great ethical minefield that he tiptoes through, it was just so impressive.
Agreed.
So I guess Michael Gambon passed away too?
Oh, really?
I guess he's not in this at all.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, oh.
It's obviously amazing to be back, but it's so, I guess, like shocking that so many people that we both thought would be around for much longer than they
There you have it.
have been, like Helen and Alan and Richard and...
Yeah.
There's a lot of loss.
They're like family. You can grieve in the same way.
Yeah.
Of course.
It does not do to dwell on dream and forget to live.
Richard Harris was such a special, warm person.
That was always the word we said about him. He's so warm. Yeah.
Oh, Richard was classic. Probably one of the funniest men I've ever met. He was this devilish 11-year-old trapped in a 70-plus-year-old man's body.
Wow.
He just had that glint in his eye, which made him the perfect Dumbledore, by the way.
Yeah.
Richard Griffiths was just delicious as Mr. Dursley.
There's no such thing as magic.
He did do a great job. I did hate him.
Such verve and passion.
His passing was the one that has affected me most because he was generous with knowledge. He was just like wanted to share everything with you.
Oh.
Yeah, what about Dudley?
You know, I'll be very, very old one day saying like, I knew that absolute legend.
I know I ought not to be here.
Wow.
Wow. Oh, only just a few years ago.
She was young.
I said, I think I just met the best actress I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, my God.
I feel lucky to have worked with her and shared just so much, frankly, adolescent laughter with her on the set.
Oh. Wow.
She taught me a lot. See, I can't even say it.
Oh, that's terribly sad. I mean, she was only like 50.
She had this ability, just to sort of to show such empathy in her eyes. It was a real treat to work with her.
Alan Rickman never talked to me like I was a child. He always took my thoughts and opinions very seriously, which I was always very touched by.
It answers to you and you only, does it?
I was a little intimidated by him. We sort of went toe-to-toe in a funny way, Snape and Voldemort. Two actors can relish metaphorically fencing with each other. Alan was a magician in that way as an actor.
Yeah.
Oh, he was freaking pitch perfect.
The ones that love us never really leave us.
Aww.
And you can always find them in here.
Yeah, the editing of this documentary where they know how to have the movie's themes reflect the real life.
Yeah. Maggie Rose, too.
So many people.
Or Maggie Smith. I always call her Maggie Rose.
Oh, my God, you're right. Maggie Smith, damn.
The measures they had taken to protect their families made him realize that they really were going to come with him and that they knew exactly how dangerous that would be.
Oh, yeah. Deathly Hallows Part 1 is my second favorite.
It's both really cool and it is weird, like walking around here and seeing the sets that we were.
I bet.
Remember my hamster? Does anyone remember my hamster?
Yes! I remember you having a hamster and being vaguely jealous that you had an animal that was on set with you.
Oh.
They made a coffin for it, the carpentry department.
When Millie died, the set designers built Millie her
Oh.
own
Wow.
custom-made wooden coffin.
I love that so much.
Had her name engraved
Amazing.
because I was beside myself.
Did we do like a service? I feel like we said a few words.
I kept wanting to pick up dead Millie and like stroke and touch dead Millie.
Oh.
And he was like, Emma, Millie's got to like stay in the coffin.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't feel like much time has passed.
I know.
We all still look better than we do in the epilogue, which is great.
Yeah. Yep.
Love
That's
that.
what I was saying about Draco. He's like, he looks better than he does here.
Yeah.
I was all forehead and a fat suit.
Yeah, I think
I've kind of...
Yeah, you went for it. You were like, give me the full, give me the
So
suit.
you went all in.
Yeah.
No one else can really quite understand what we experience. It's a very unique thing. I think David Yates used to describe us as astronauts. Because no one else has really experienced this on this scale and will be kind of forever bonded by that.
Oh, yeah, you three especially. Oh, my God.
For
I can't.
sure.
I think we have all fallen asleep in various, like,
Yes.
on each other in like, some of the most grand cathedrals and things in the UK.
If we were doing a stunt, I trusted that one of you would catch me.
Yeah.
Kind of trust and reliance, and that takes, there's very few working environments where you get that much time to build that up.
True.
Sure, yeah, it's very true.
We were each very strong for each other.
Ain't that the truth? Damn.
These films had a very different feel. We were away from Hogwarts a lot of the time, camping out in different places. The tone was a lot darker. It felt like a different film.
Yeah, it really did.
It was very refreshing, I think, because we all got to do some a lot more serious stuff, and it was
especially
a real
Ron.
opportunity to go deeper with these characters.
I mean, I think of this one, I think the acting from all three is the best.
Yeah.
A scene that I
What a
thought was going to be
unique
really awkward
franchise,
and I
man. You
wasn't
gotta
sure
watch
about
these
at
guys
all,
grow into
which was
adults.
us doing our
So
dance.
wild.
Like now, that's one of my favorite scenes from the whole of the series.
Yep,
That's what I
it's a
said.
great scene.
I said that's one of my favorites.
First of all, we were doing Harry Potter films, and then on the last movie, the director came in and was like, hey, how about you do slow dancing to Nick Cave for 5 minutes? You're like, wait, what movie are we?
Oh, it's so cute.
Yeah, I love this scene.
Literally one of my favorites. It's the one that I said it reminds me of an indie film.
There was so much said in the scene that was unspoken, and I loved that. And also, in the same way that for the characters, they got to have a moment of fun, I felt like you and I got to have a moment of fun.
Yeah. Honestly,
I mean, the
I
world
remember
feels so
you
much
and
more
I,
real when you
Emma,
shoot on
becoming
location.
incredibly competitive
Ridiculously competitive,
about who was going to run faster. Always like a little bit too like, you guys do what you like.
This is like, you do your thing.
Yeah,
I'll be here.
for me, running is a stunt.
Running is a
I
stunt.
love it.
We had started off young and really not knowing what we're doing, so that when we'd see each other do like a bit of real acting, you'd go, oh, cool.
That was cool.
Yeah,
that was really good.
we're getting better. Like,
That's awesome.
Obviously, us kissing was the most horrifying thing either of us have ever had to go through.
I didn't even like see his reaction too.
It was just built up so much for the whole series, and
8 films.
I love Ron and Hermione's romance and the way that sort of just bubbles away.
So good.
We should talk about once you've read it, because we're doing the kiss this week between Ron and Hermione. What? Doing the kiss between Ron and Hermione. And
This week? Oh, God, they're terrified.
Spoke to both of them in the trailers, made sure they were both comfortable. It was almost like prepping them for a major sports event. You know, saying, okay, guys, you can do this. It's going to be great.
You and I just kept corpsing, like we just kept laughing. And I was just really scared we were never going to get it because we just couldn't take it seriously.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Because I've been told significantly that I was just being an absolute dick about this and was like, I'm going to come on set and watch you guys kiss.
Everyone was like, this is going to be good, guys.
I'm sorry about that, guys.
I knew I was going to kind of have to be the one to kind of make this thing happen.
All right.
So I just had to go for it.
Taking no prisoners.
I needed like momentum into the kiss.
Oh man, that whole set was green screen.
And Rupert's, I could almost on that first take, I saw Rupert's face explode with surprise because he thought, it's only the first take.
Kind of got blacked out.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
I just remember your face getting closer and closer to mine.
Every time you talk about this, you make it sound like an actual horror show in your head.
It wasn't that bad. I know.
Oh. Oh, my God.
Oh, this felt, yeah, I remember we felt it coming. Yeah, that was great.
Oh, it's so good.
Kissing Rupert is one of the hardest things I have ever had to do. It just felt wrong, so wrong on every level.
Wrong.
Because Dan, Rupert, and I are so much siblings.
Oh, God. God.
All three of us, I think, felt so matched in how much it meant to us.
What about the naked kiss with Dan?
I know they gloss over that shit.
They really did.
I'll go with you.
Kill the snake.
I knew I was saying goodbye to the series. I knew I was saying goodbye to you.
Yeah.
And I just had to bring to the surface how I really felt about it all coming to an end.
Yeah. You could feel that. Wow, they really just did gloss over her and Dan. Was it CGI?
I mean, he reacted. No,
I know. He went, oh, yeah.
But-
I know. I'm just like, that was a more intense one.
If you ask Joe or anyone who's deeply involved in it, they'll just say it's the battle between good and evil. It's as simple as that.
Between the light and the dark.
I owe so much to Neville. As a character, I was very, very shy. I would never speak up in class. I wouldn't put my hand up for anything because I very much was him. Great story of Neville is that he's the champion.
Yeah.
True. Damn.
That wonderful bit at the end, that great speech of Matty's, good must prevail, of course.
I had absolutely zero recollection of Neville's importance in this.
Doesn't matter that Harry's gone.
Remember? Sword
People
and...
die every day. We lost Harry tonight. He's still with us.
That's such a moving speech.
But the thing that Harry Potter did for me, both as a story and as an actor in it, was that it helped me to find, at first, what I'm not. Harry's heart did beat for all of us! Which therefore, by extension, found what I am.
Nah, yeah, great point.
Fringo!
Yeah.
Voldemort and Harry takes place in the Great Hall with a huge audience watching. And I really wanted something earthier and more intense and more visceral than that.
Oh, yeah, is this them too?
I thought, wouldn't it be wonderful if Dan just grabbed Rafe and pulled him off this tower?
Wow.
Let's finish this the way we started it. Together.
Yeah.
They merged together. That deep connection that we'd sort of threaded through the stories and the films, you'd visualize in that moment before they tumble down into the courtyard.
Damn, that's cool. Yeah, it's not from the book, huh?
Yeah.
Shit.
He manifested that.
Quite physically tired. We put everything into it. We were exhausted, I think, at the end. We were shooting in cold months in the sky.
Oh.
My forearm got so tight because this thing that's running current in you that you had to...
Oh, yeah.
As well as the physical challenge of making the films, there was that small pressure of thinking, you're the one who's going to finish this. It has to go out on a high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has to deliver.
You did it. Oh, man, I mean, that editing room's stressing out so much.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my
I
God.
don't
So much pressure.
The final one.
Yeah.
I like that. It's not a big crowd. I think that's a
just-
great choice. Great
Yeah.
choice.
Mano y mano. They did it first.
Now let's do all the Fantastic Beasts.
Hello, my name is Emma Watson, play the part of Hermione Granger. Do you want to give that? No, mine.
Rather not be seen like this?
Yeah.
Why?
Because he has a clip in his hair.
It's Radcliffe.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's so cute.
What do you do, Cam? I'm from the press, exactly. How did you know?
Yeah, from the press.
How does it feel?
It feels absolutely fantastic.
Are you excited?
It's their first
Very
day.
much so.
Oh.
Okay, get back to work. People need to pamper you.
Hey.
Oh my God, he's so cute.
Towards the end, it was kind of a weird time, especially kind of finishing. I feel like I lost track of who I was and who the character was. I didn't really know where they ended or began.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost like we did the most extreme form of method acting.
Yeah.
The way it feels for me now, like seeing you here having had time apart, I'm trying not to get emotional.
Why not?
It feels like you're like a pillar of my life.
It's a very overwhelming thing because I've watched you grow up. We've watched each other grow up. We grew up together. We're family.
It's like being in class.
We always will be. We don't need to see each other. Even though we don't see each other all the time.
Aww.
It's a strong bond that we'll always have, and we will always be part of each other's life.
Yeah.
Maybe?
Oh my God.
Oh, so nice to see you.
To see you.
They've aged so wonderfully.
I love you.
Aww.
As a friend.
Just to be clear for everyone watching.
There's so much love.
Thanks, Rubes.
Oh.
The last shots we did, entire shoot.
We were diving past the camera and landing on this huge crash mat.
That was what it all came down to, this one take of us jumping.
Oh, right.
What was actually happening? We had to like jump onto a map, basically, to travel into another world.
Which now is real life.
Incredibly palpable. And for the people who'd supported them and had been there for them throughout. Everybody who'd seen them grow up.
Oh,
That's
man.
insane.
On that last day, I just lost it.
Of course.
I remember all of us just holding each other. All three of us were like utterly devastated.
Oh,
so
yeah, that'd be hard as
sad.
hell.
I think it was the first time we'd allowed ourselves to even process or realize we'd done it. We'd made it through.
Yeah.
I measure my life with these movies. Someone says like, oh, when did you pass your driving test? I'm like, Order of the Phoenix.
When I meet people who it's a really important part of their life, or the books or the films were in some way like a part of their identity, it just makes you really proud.
Yeah, so cool.
Like when things get really dark and times are really hard, stories give us places we can go where we can rest and feel held.
Oh, whoa, damn. That's awesome.
It's amazing to be a small kind of part of that, and just seeing it kind of relive on and finding new mediums like the stage show, Fantastic Beasts, is just kind of living forever, and it's amazing to see it.
There's nothing like the stories of Harry Potter.
Ain't that true?
Every child wonders how they're going to fit in, and it's an epic journey that every child goes on.
Sure, yeah.
I'm already emotional. Don't show me that.
I have found it an extraordinary world to be involved with, and it's a beautiful world.
Extraordinary world to be involved with. Huh? This is from your brain, dude.
Yeah, that she created.
Most of the fans that come up and say hello to me now weren't even born when we made the film, so it quickly makes you feel slightly...
Yeah.
And very grateful that it's being passed down to other generations.
Training for the ballet, Potter!
It's film history.
Joe Rowling created was the fact that you get to see young children grow into adults and to see that journey on film. I don't think we've ever seen that before.
No.
Something about the escapism you find, the healthy form of escapism, that I think is kind of what Harry Potter does.
Yeah.
Just think it's an end of an era. It's 10 years of my life, and my children have grown up during it, of course.
That is Robbie Coltrane, finest gamekeeper in Hogwarts, last day on Harry Potter.
The legacy of the movies is that my children's generation will show them to their children. So you could be watching it in 50 years' time. Easy. I'll not be here, sadly. But
Oh.
It was a great time. It really was. It was amazing.
It's just the best, most amazing experience, and that
Oh.
they were so kind, and they both took the responsibility of it really seriously, and I appreciated that so much.
It really is like family. We're just so intrinsically linked.
Sure, yeah.
The crew on these films were unbelievable. There are people on these films that are foundational to who I am.
Yeah.
As a person and an actor, I feel so lucky to be where I am and to have the life that I have and be able to work with the people I work with now. But none of it is possible without this.
Yeah.
It was a very good 10 years.
I love how they're all so like in love with it, man. It's very common for actors to actually seem like they're over it or don't want to talk about it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
After all this time, always.
Great spot to end it at. It's too bad they
Oh my
passed away.
God. That made me cry, y'all, at the end.
Post-credit scene. They resurrect everyone who died. All right.
Wow.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we finished watching moments ago the Harry Potter reunion. I want to say thanks to Prepper for editing down these highlights.
Yeah.
Hopefully, music companies and Warner Brothers did not make life a living hell for us by the time we were watching this. I'll say that. Wow. Tara.
Yeah.
You're crying.
Yeah.
With a big smile on your face. Why are you crying? How are you feeling? Tell me how you're feeling.
It's just so nostalgic. And for me, I really relate to that when you are on like a film, and I have always thought this on projects that I've worked on. I'm like, the reason that I like to do it is because those things live forever, and you won't. And like Coltrane was saying, he's like, he'll always be here. He's like, I won't, right? And it just makes me like, I relate to that. And I also just love how much all three of them being so young, but still being in love with the art of acting and like basically growing up through this series. So when you see at the end how grateful they are to have done it, I think sometimes when you work a lot, you can become ungrateful. I know that I have been when I have like, this will sound a little absurd, but let's say like a couple years ago, I booked like 15 commercials and I was like, it's too much. I'm not grateful anymore. When I get a call, it's like, you booked it. And I'm like, great. When does it shoot? When am I doing it? Like it became more work and less like why I was in it in the first place. And sometimes you need a second to remember that like, every time that I have ever been on set, it's always been like a life-changing, great thing for me that has changed my life in great and incredible ways, and I meet great people. And I think I just felt that. And I was like, it's so cool that I have gotten to do what they do on the smallest scale. I'm the bottom of the ladder. I get it, but I still just relate to it. And I just found it just a really beautiful ending. It just made me, I don't know, it just made me cry. Yeah.
So you feel it gave you a
just a reminder to be
perspective.
Like a reminder to be, grateful, which I am. I'm just saying that I really related when they were like, I think we all had those feelings where they were like, they wanted to maybe get out. Do we leave this all behind?
Mm-hmm.
And there's times where I've been there like, oh, who am I? What do I really want to do? And then, but also remembering like all of the things that I have done, have made me who I am today as an actor, as a host, as a human being in general. Yeah. I mean, that's more related. I think I just found a bit, listen, it's not about me. It just touched my heart that way, especially when Coltrane said, this thing will live forever. I will not. There's anything huge that I've done that people will be like, let's look up this Lifetime movie in 50 years. That's not going to happen. Maybe. But like, I just related to that. And I really like how they show that when you're on set with a film, whether it's 2 weeks or 10 years is very, very different, but you do become like a family. And you could not see someone that you shot a thing with and you see him years later and you're like, hey, it's like yesterday. It's weird. I don't know. It's a weird thing. And I really like seeing this and how real they were and emotional. Like they're just human beings who did a thing and they went to work and they fell in love with the process and each other at the same time. And it is difficult when you're sort of ripped from the process because you have to leave all of these people that you have grown with and spent all this time with. It's jarring. And I feel like I'm ripped out of it currently because we just ended the Harry Potter series. It's like when you have post-gig depression, it's the same of like post-movie depression. Like, I just feel all of that.
I get that with television shows quite a bit. A lot. It's difficult for me to, especially if it's a show I watch, not here, but like a show that I watch on my own.
Yeah.
I was like messed up for a solid week after Friends was over.
God, I bet. Yeah, that's like, whew.
Yeah, something like that. And I don't think what you're saying is far-fetched. You're saying it's not about me or you when you're saying that about you.
Right.
But I don't think that's true. I mean, this is like anything. It's you're experiencing something, and if anything, you're not experiencing characters' emotions, you're experiencing real people's emotions that they're editing down here and translating, because this is like on behind the scenes footage. I'm sure the actual footage they shot was like days worth of footage that they probably got. You know, that's what they do. And you get like these fantastic editors to trim it down to something cohesive for less than a 2-hour experience.
Yeah.
But what you're speaking about, I think, makes a lot of sense. I think a lot of people can relate with that beyond film, like of what I've heard people talk about with camp, where that's about the only thing. I mean, music, you hear that with. Any type of thing, an experience that causes you to congregate, create, be immersed together, where it is a big part. When I say consuming your life, I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean it is your focus, and it is the people you learn to be vulnerable with and trust, and you're literally growing as a person with. Anyone who's been in any type of group thing like that, could be sports, could be, and in the entertainments, you know, I've done like short films even where it's a month of my investment, and I think I'm going to be like hanging out with these guys forever. And I don't, you know?
And you don't,
but
in that moment, it's magic.
Yeah. When you're actually pulling it off and you're going through the experience together, it is magical. And you know, it dawned on, there was so much that was dawning on me when like this whole thing was a shift in perspective in so many ways. Like that ability for you to relate on that. I don't have it as strong to it. I've had experiences where I could certainly liken it to it. Like for me, it was the class that I knew John from. I went to school for the same group of less than 30 children from 1st to 8th grade. And I only went to high school for 6 months. You know, look at me now. You don't need school, kids.
Look at him now.
You just watch movies. No, I went to high school, so I don't have like the high school experience.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot I can relate to them when I'm watching this. I don't really know I don't know the life that most other people have. Because I had the same group of 30, and then when I felt similar to me, where a lot of my friends from that point, they were like, but high school, like a lot of them went to high school and had the high school life. And I'm like, for me, it ended at 8th grade, and you guys are like such a formal, primitive time in my development, you know, like my personality. And so that's why, you know, like work with Alex. I've known her. She was part of my 8th grade class. John, 8th grade class, the guy who bought this place who was in my wedding, 8th grade class. Yeah. So I'm really tight with them. Because like a good handful of them, another person named Vanessa, there's a good handful of them who I'm really tight with because of same group of people for 10 years. And not having a traditional, I'm more attached to them in some ways than they probably are with, and I'd say Brandon's the same thing because we didn't have the traditional life.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And so, I get it. And, you know, Daniel Radcliffe talked about something. I'm doing another podcast with John where I'm going to be on a separate channel where I'm going to be unpacking this in one of our videos one day when we have like hours to film. I used to go by a personality named Ryan Wright, and people who watch enough videos can see the difference. And when I stopped being Ryan Wright, I had a very similar thing with all three of them were talking about. I'm like, that's all I know how to do. That's all I know how to be. I don't know how to be me. Like, what is me on camera? Like, it's Greg Alba an act, you know, and learning how to be authentic, true to yourself. And it was such a journey for me I was stifled, you know, and I was scared. And so, there's a lot that I personally related to, and I didn't expect that. I thought I was going to get like a good bunch of trivia, and which we did. We got like plenty of that, but there was an experience happening here. I'm very drained, you know.
I feel like what you just said is like, I relate to that. I will tell you that I was auditioning a lot and I was booking some things. This is like 9 years ago. And then I started my YouTube channel and everything changed after that. And I will always say that YouTube, it sounds weird for me to get emotional about it, but like made me realize who I am, because I was just like, if you look at old ass videos, it's literally me sitting in my apartment doing really dumb things, like reenacting a movie trailer, talking about, I have no idea. But because I put myself out there in such a ridiculous manner that I was like, this is what I'm doing. Then in my life, I felt more secure to go into an audition and be like, I'm gonna tag it and I'm gonna say this. And then I just started booking because I was just being me. It was like I had the sort of like the soapbox to be like, yeah, this is who Tara is. She's not like perfect. She's going to do this. Hire her if you want mostly comedy or whatever. And I felt like at that point after I started YouTube that I really found out who I was. So I'm grateful for that.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think there's a lot of I didn't expect so much correlation. Like there was shit that they were saying in here that it really didn't dawn on me until watching this. Oh yeah, I mean, like a lot of kids, most children in UK and US. I mean, this is like a worldwide book, right? But you know, generally the biggest audience is for English speaking UK, US, and most kids are going to school, and then they get to experience this alternate school reality when they're reading these books or watching these movies.
Yeah,
you know, we're experiencing them as adults, so I'm not drawing that line. I'm not connecting those dots.
Yeah.
And it showed me in this doc that, oh yeah, shit, that's probably what a lot of people were going through was the alternate world here.
Yeah.
And so when they're saying people who are misfits and unusual and they're oddities, I wrote down, I mean, I tried making notes, but I can't even read my own writing 90% of the time. Like this says Tara something.
Tara really.
Yeah, no, Tara Ren.
Tara Ren.
I don't. There was something that happened where I wanted Tara. I don't know what that even means. I don't even know when I wrote it, but I made a separate section. Tara reality. Tara does reality show reactions. And it was meant to, that's what it was. It was meant to plug your fucking channel.
That is so hilarious.
After you brought the YouTube thing, and I didn't even realize, I wrote that down earlier because I was like, oh yeah, plug her channel because this is something reality. And she does reality show reactions on her solo channel.
Oh my God.
So.
But you were talking about the correlation between young kids and the books.
Young kids and the books, and it's kind of like this timeless tale, and to be thrown into their perspective, their journey of what they went through. Daniel Radcliffe said something in there when he's talking to Helena Bonham Carter about I don't know if he has children. Like this was done a while ago, this documentary. I don't know if he has children now, but he's talking about showing his children these.
Right. He's hypothetical, he said. So who knows if he has them now.
But they'll never really understand the way how we'll never really understand their journey. They'll never really understand other people's journeys that they have with the effect that they have, that it has on them to experience these movies and these books. Like his kids will never be able to truly grasp it,
right?
Because his kids will see their dad, you know. And it is strange how there's so much connection, but from audience to the people who created it, there is such a split of how they can never truly get it, you know. And both feelings are so powerful, and for them that was their school. Like that was their growing up. That was their school.
Yeah,
they did their homework. They did their school work there. But for their careers, it's where they mastered their craft. But that's where they had their romances. That's where they had their late nights, their stresses, their studying for lines and growing up as people around the same crew of people. Like while directors might shift and while some crew members get swapped in and out and some cast members leave, just like how, you know, I was in the same group of 30 kids, but you know, a few of them left and a few new people came in, you know, but it was mainly like primarily the same 25 people. So yeah, it was just illuminating to watch them as children and go, holy shit, can you imagine being like a little kid getting cast this part and having no clue, like the comprehension of who you're even acting with and not grasping the realities of that, and even discovering when you want to be a serious actor is probably not happening till like the third or fourth movie into this massive thing. And you're going, you know what? I want to take this seriously. I want to be a good actor. Like the way they talked about it, of like, oh, I'm getting better. I'm getting good. Like, oh, we're doing something big here. We're doing and it wasn't until like the third or fourth movie where it's really hitting them. Like maybe we can do something with our craft.
Yeah,
you know? It's insanity to me. It's a boot camp. It's immersion.
Totally.
It's their therapy. It's their class. And I'm glad that there is equal shared time. And it really showed me like Daniel Radcliffe seems like a really damn good, like he seems humble as shit, doesn't he?
Yeah. Really good dude.
It seems like from his parents being very cautious about not wanting him to like go to LA and looking out for him. And
Yeah.
even in the talks, he seems like such an incredible listener.
Yes. Yes. And I feel like in the correlation with the books and kids and them in general is that the films and the books, but especially when the books first came out, I feel like the books saved a lot of children just in general with like life, because they found a way to escape into this different world and relate to other characters who were also being bullied, who also felt really nerdy, who also feel rejected, right? Who feel like a misfit and can feel understood. So I'm not surprised why there's thousands of people waiting at a door for the next book to drop, because it's just like you want to know where that character is going because you see yourself in that, and there's a way that the way that character is written can help you like throughout, like, you know, middle school, high school, whatever, which I find very I just find that very touching.
When when we were watching these movies in the beginning stages, we were acknowledging like it's going to be fun watching these actors grow and get better as actors.
Mm-hmm.
And in the beginning, it really seemed like Daniel Radcliffe had the most room, needed the most to grow.
Yes,
between the three of them. But like it was around. It must have been. I think it was like around Half-Blood Order of Phoenix or Half-Blood Prince, where suddenly he was like, "Damn, he is freaking."
He's
perfect now. Now he's perfect. Holy shit. Where in the first couple movies, it is that rough child acting, and like all three of them had a bit, but it felt particularly strong with Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah.
And it really showed me though that this guy was perfectly cast for the. He talked about being like the sweet kid, but there was a bit of like a hauntingness in his eyes, and like how. He would constantly they would say stuff like Hermione's perfectly cast because she's so much like Emma Watson, and Rupert Grint's so much like Ron. And I was like, well, how is Daniel Radcliffe exactly like Harry? I didn't quite see the connection there. And the documentary really shined a light on, you know what, even though in the acting side he had room to grow, it kind of complements Harry, like of the journey that he had to go on, of the responsibility of leading. Like, to be the lead actor in this is insane for when they were saying in Prisoner of Azkaban he's 14, I thought for some reason he was like 16. Like there's a big difference at that age. Like I'm 34. There's a big difference between 30. There's not as big a difference between 34 and 36. But there's a big difference between 14 and 16, you know?
For sure.
When you're at that age, it's a massively big difference.
Yeah, it's a big leap.
And when you show it, when they were going there, I'm like, damn, like, that is Harry Potter, though. You're entrusted as this little boy with so much responsibility to helm something, and everyone's counting on you because if you're not working, this whole thing won't work. And like, damn, this guy is perfectly cast. It is perfectly cast, and the way his personality in real life was developing, and how they were tying it into Goblet of Fire and the hormonal stages, and how that was barely any real acting required for him, and to have even with Sirius Black, the first family member of his that he gets to have a real interaction with, that's not because he didn't have his parents, and then he had that awe and
wonder for him.
Yeah. It's like, damn, this guy was perfectly cast from the beginning.
Yeah.
And it didn't hit me, you know, it really didn't hit me. There's a lot that kind of flew over my head, or I didn't bother to think about. So this was definitely like as equally immersive as the movies, I would say.
For sure.
You know?
I mean, I think that's what a good movie does, is we're not really necessarily supposed to think that much about it. Well, I mean, in our position, yeah, but
sure.
But shoot, what was I gonna say? I just lost a thought. I was gonna say, oh yeah, that with Harry and him needing to grow as a character and show more emotion and more depth, because in the times that, and we stated in the first or second movie, when he showed emotion, it was like, oh, I didn't believe him. But then as we grow, he grows as a person, right? And now becomes more vulnerable and also, you know, more hormonal and just like growing up to where then you find more depth and being more vulnerable and having more emotions and providing that on screen. And that comes to life as we grow in the movies.
It's sad that as a collective society, if people have money, we're very dismissive of a lot of their problems. If people have fame, we're very dismissive of a lot of the problems. When that is one slice of a pie, it really is one slice of, it's a percentage of what makes up someone's life.
Correct.
You know, like I don't fully agree with the phrase money doesn't buy happiness because people have money problems. So if you have money, it solves a problem.
Yeah, it does.
But that is one thing out of many. And it dawned on me with people who often say to those friends who say, I'm going to link it back to their fame in a second. When people say, I have a hard time gaining weight. I eat everything and anything and I can never gain weight. The average person, I hear that. I'm saying this out loud right now and I'm going, man, I freaking wish I had that problem. That's going to be an amazing problem to have.
Yeah, right.
Like jealous, some problem that is, you know? And it hit me like a couple months ago when someone was expressing this. And I thought, man, what an isolating problem that must feel like, because most people think the way I do about that.
Right.
Maybe I think it a little bit more heightened or whatever, but most people won't be like, man, that's a real struggle. Most people love to have a situation where they can eat a large box of pizza and not freaking worry about gaining weight, right?
Totally.
And to me, I started thinking, man, what must that struggle be like? What must that lead to? And it's the same thing here when I'm hearing about like Emma Watson dealing with the struggles of fame and Rupert Grint dealing with the struggles of fame and how lonely that can actually be. And it's really easy to be dismissive of those kind of problems when, you know, they have all this money, they're set for life, and then we chalk that up to then everything in their life must be solved then because they have money and fame probably forever, you know, when that's really not the case. Right. Like I can only imagine, obviously, the amount of like, I don't like going to screenings a lot of the time because then I feel like I have to like put up an act with a bunch of people from a bunch of sides of the internet that I'm like, oh, hey, I don't really want to be here. I'm gonna put a smile. And I'm like, imagine that's like a very tiny thing, and I'm like, they have to be on like all the time. You never have privacy. You never get to be alone. It's invasive. You don't get at your age, you don't get to have a lot of relatability when everyone your age has had schooling and goes to proms and all this shit or whatever the hell you do in the UK. I don't know.
So it's like, what do you talk about? You talk about being at Hogwarts? Like, you know, in real life, like you're not, that must be very isolating.
Everyone always wants to talk to you about your fucking Harry Potter experience.
Yeah.
And like, what about you as a person? You know, like who are you as a person? And when your life is this big, when you complain about stuff that you're having, I'm imagine that a lot of that probably gets dismissed as, what does it matter? You have money and fame, you know? And yeah, like it was, there's so much that I didn't think truly through that this was shining. It was really magnifying a lot that I had not considered of, oh yeah, it totally makes sense. When we read that as a fact that she thought about quitting, and when I was hearing her here, even though they don't go fully into it, it really started the gears started churning of, oh yeah, of course, like burnout, they're doing this all
pressure.
Year round for 10 years, you know?
Yeah.
Probably longer than that, probably more than 10 years, I'd imagine. Probably takes like, because you got to do the filming and the post.
Right,
and
that's
and then
true.
you're promoting it, you know.
Right. That's a long freaking time.
It's your whole life, and it's for 8 movies. It's got to be more than 10 years. Yeah.
Probably. I mean, I feel like they said 10, but yeah, I mean, it's a lifetime, which is why they're like, yeah, we saw each other grow up. Like they grew up together, and that's like, I don't know. It must be such a jarring experience when like he's saying that he's like, well, I have kids, and what else did he say? He's like
kidney stones and kids.
Kidney stone and kids. When you skip to that, like you're like, oh crap, they're just real people trying to live their lives and do other projects probably and other things, but this is a thing that will always live with them and be something that people will always relate them to, which can also be a problem, meaning that line of them going, this is gonna be forever. It feels like it's gonna be forever, but the tone of that is really, you will always be. Initially, when people see you, it's Harry Potter, even if you do other things for a long time. Even Jason Alexander has probably talked about that, about George from Seinfeld. It doesn't matter how many Broadway shows you do after it or other shows. People want you and see you as George, and sometimes it could be a hard thing if you want to get out of that world for a second. So I'm sure it must be a little difficult, but they all seem to be doing all right.
They weren't like gimmicky though, or something with that. Like when you look at what happens with a lot of actors, like we were just talking about with Jason Alexander in Seinfeld. A lot of actors are pursuing acting for so long, and they become an adult, and they could keep pursuing, and they finally get a role, but they're booking some random role that they want to be able to have versatility. They have all these desires and dreams and aspirations of being actors and stuff.
Right.
Like these children did not have all that in them for decades,
right,
trying to become this versatility actor. They were discovering themselves through this. So their relationship with the fans and with themselves as these characters is totally different than the average person who will always be remembered as this one thing. It's like the guy who plays Bond and is only remembered as Bond forever, just trying to break out from that.
Totally.
Is it completely
because they
different?
planned for that. They did not. They did not know what was coming.
They didn't know what was coming, and I think the gratitude really shows because it's like such a formative part of their development.
Yeah,
and it's different. It really is different. It's more than them being like the funny child on a sitcom, and then they're stuck being known as that funny kid.
Oh God, no! It's them really growing from kids, showing that they have talent, to blooming into full blown actors who very much respect and appreciate the work that they are doing, and the time that they put in is very obvious. Except just in the beginning, they're not of the age where they would recognize where this is headed.
Let's talk about Chris Columbus really quick. Directed the first two. I love that Daniel Radcliffe gave him his flowers there, saying that your work contribution is often overlooked. And sometimes the novels have drawings and stuff, which is usually actually different from what the author sometimes has nothing to do with that. Oftentimes they have nothing to do with this vision that is being drawn out,
Totally.
And for his contribution, that laid the foundation for everything that we saw, even if the first two are not your favorite films. Bottom line, like, we know what Harry Potter world looks like. We know what the buildings look like. We know what the clothes look like. We know the aesthetic so well.
Yeah.
And the vibe and the tone. And that all started with this one guy who was like
Columbus.
Casting people and stuff. And that affect that you forget about, like you don't really, it's true. I don't think he really gets the credit. And even for Mike Newell for Goblet of Fire, I remember saying that I don't really think he had as much of a specific type of direction with his style. And it was illuminating to see the type of energy he brought, and everyone was so specific on what made his direction so unique. So that educated me. And even him, he was the one who cast Ray Fiennes as Voldemort. I'm like, oh damn, I thought that would have been someone else. Like, a lot of the times in these casting decisions, especially with the way movies studios are run now, like if you look at Marvel, it seems, or DC or whatever, a lot of times it seems like producers are casting, and then they put some independent director out and they put them on this giant movie so they can kind of control their. That way they have someone to shoot for hire, and they can kind of control the independent director, and they're casting without the directors knowing.
Totally, absolutely.
That happens so much of the time now, and to see like, oh damn, I thought that might have been the case. Like something like I didn't know Mike Newell was the one responsible, or one of the main people responsible for casting the iconic Voldemort today. Like damn,
cool.
he deserves way more praise then.
Yeah, I agree. I think that is how a film really like comes alive is when a director can have a direct hand in involving what actors that they would like to have, which good films or like indie films you do, which is why those are super fun and to me super great, even though sometimes they're weird. Like I bring it up a lot. A24 films, they have such a vibe. Sometimes they're weird, but they will get big actors to be in this thing because they can, and those actors know this director can control it and bring his vision to life, versus even if they do a bigger project where they get more money, they know that there's other people in this room that are producers who aren't really like great filmmakers who are going to make the decisions.
Yeah.
And when that trickles down, can make not a good film.
I fully agree with you. I really do. There's that what Chris Columbus said about the anxiety, because look, guys, I've been dealing with a lot of stress management problems. I have anger problems. I'm dealing with a lot of shit, right? Tara knows a lot about it. I'm doing my best to be honest with myself and with everyone around here in a way that's not like, ooh, woe is me. I'm actively doing stuff to develop myself. So Chris Columbus had that thing in there where he was talking about leading a set. And he was saying that he has all this anxiety and fear. He's trying to like bring this thing to life that is so beloved, and he had to know how to not project that or put that in the environment on people, and that really clicked with me because I'm like, man, do I do the exact opposite a lot of the time? Like, I have kind of known to be the antithesis a lot of the time. And it was a really like enlightening moment to me that, like, of course I logically have known that for so long, but that really showed me the importance of that as people like you and I who have our avenues, who want to get more involved in the actual creation of these things. Why we admire this stuff so much. It's why we love to allow ourselves to be affected so much by these things. So it was really cool, the value of like the leader on set of a director, and the importance of like a lot of times when I talked about the directors, it wasn't really so much about the shots they got or the ideas they had. It was about the energy they brought. It was about the attitude that they had and
how
what they
safe
brought
they made them feel.
Exactly. And like all these things that I was going, yeah, a director really has to be like a really great leader. And it was that one really struck a chord with me as a great lesson. I'll say that for a movie franchise that's about magic, this documentary did an incredible job at being about movie magic, you know, the magic of making movies. And it's been a while since I have felt that of the magic of film, the magic of making a movie. You know, it sounds weird to say considering what we do. I really forget that there is a magic to making.
Yeah.
And there's so much cynicism about the film business, understandably so. There's so much cynicism. There's a lot of criticism, and there's a lot of media outlets, especially on YouTube, that seem like they primarily make their living off of bashing developments of movies, the stages that they're at, the movies that are coming out. Like that is their lane, and do your thing. This brought me that feeling though of movie making magic, and to do that for a franchise that's about magic, I think this is like an incredible. Friends is my favorite show of all time, and I wasn't actually a big fan of the Friends reunion overall, which was on Max as well.
Oh, okay.
So I wasn't the most excited to watch this. And this was like, no, this is like a million. It's very different things. And I thought this was absolutely incredible. I had an amazing time. I'm glad we watched. I'm really, really glad you guys encouraged this. And I'm glad we watched this today.
Me too. I feel like it just in that where I made like a joke where I was like, yeah, he just buries it. Where it's kind of like the thing where it's like you can't bring your crap into an audition if you got a parking ticket. Like you just have to go and do the job, right? And it's fun to hear Chris Columbus say that, but then there has to be avenues, which we have to remind ourselves that you have to take an avenue in order to get all of that like out, because it's like I can carry around like stress and anxiety with like jobs or things that I got to do, but there's ways that you can find that you can healthily get that out, which I think is like I'm only saying that. I don't even know why I'm bringing it up because we're talking about this reaction. It's because so I'm starting a podcast. I'm not going to name it, but we've talked about that of like ways that you can alleviate that type of like a world on your shoulders thing, but in a healthy way, which it's like hard for us to find that. It's actually legitimately sometimes difficult for you to think in your brain, how do I get this out of me without it negatively affecting like other people or even myself, right? Like, how do I do it in a positive way? There's plenty of ways, but it reminded me of that. And I'm like I think Chris Columbus and working with kids, especially like you look at like Home Alone, I'm like, oh yeah. And now it's like, it's Harry Potter. He just has, I think that takes just a lot of fortitude to be able to walk onto a set, have the world on your freaking shoulders and keep these kids in line, but make them feel like they're on a playground and get a film out of them. Meaning like, no, you got to grab this and it's fun. I'm like, I would be like, you guys got to shut up and listen and let's do like action. I give them a lot of credit and all the other directors too. And I thought that in all of these movies, bringing back the magic, for me, movies raised me. There is a magic inherently to every single one that I watch, but especially when it's in a theater. And I feel like I was raised in theaters, that when you can escape into a film, whether it's good or even if it's not great, that there is an inherent magic within that those filmmakers and those people are giving us that I truly think is priceless.
I agree. Emma Watson said it in there. It's a chance to rest and be held. And I've never heard it that way before. And I think that's brilliant. Understanding the significance of that. And yeah, it's a great reminder of, we watch these things that people will, it's really easy to get the views and the clicks and the engagement by being hardcore. I'm being raw. I'm just being honest. I'm going to tear this thing apart, And sometimes a movie kind of feels like it deserves that. But you watch this thing like this and you go, yeah, man, it takes an army to put this shit together. Every time, whether a small army or a big army, it's an army. And they're in the trenches from getting the first freaking words on the paper to then putting it in the theater or on television or whatever. So yeah, Matt's credit. I will say, I can understand why J.K. Rowling, like I could see an argument even without her controversies of, she's not really as needed much because, there's about the films.
Yeah. She wrote it. She did bring this whole universe to life.
I will say that, like, look, I understand. She is a controversial ass person. She is a polarizing figure these days.
Absolutely.
Undoubtedly.
It's a little touchy subject. Yeah.
Yes, I know, even weirdly mentioning J.K. Rowling, even Harry Potter, suddenly seems like, wow, it's kind of like weird to bring up.
Yeah.
I do think she should have been featured more, though, because at the end of the day, this did come from her brain. Like the movies existed because the books were a phenomenon before the movies existed.
Exactly.
And this all came from her. We're watching
her brain,
her creation, her imagination.
Yeah.
We're stepping into her subconscious,
Right.
And I do think they kind of pushed her to the side.
They glazed over it a bit. And you know what? I do think that is most likely in the best interest for a doc like this, not because of who she is, but because of how people view the movies. Who do they view? They view the three kids and how we grow up in Harry Potter and the magic. J.K. Rowling is at the very she's the antecedent to the whole thing. She's the beginning. That is sort of a thought that's dismissed because it's just like, well, she wrote the words, she created the universe, but everything else that people experience, it has to do without her. And they sort of forget she's sprinkled throughout. This is her like brainchild.
Yeah.
Right. So I do think they glazed over her, but they probably did it because people are like, oh, okay, she wrote the books. Like, I don't really care. What do these people that I saw in the film have to say? Maybe. I don't know. I would have liked to hear more from her, but
I would have loved to have, honestly, especially in the beginning stages of the Harry Potter of it first coming to life.
Mhm.
I think it would have really added to. I understand that there's like a large camp that really hates her now, and that has that contentious relationship.
Yeah.
With like, I love the Harry Potter movies, but I really don't like J.K. Rowling. I love the books, but I really don't like. So
yeah,
I get it, and it would probably cast too big of a shadow.
Yeah, it might.
For that percentage who is really affected by seeing her presence.
Yeah.
So I understand. I do. I think there could have been a little bit, just a little bit. Like I'm talking like 5 more minutes in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because they definitely kept her away from everyone else.
They
like
did.
you're totally separated.
She is
for the Harry Potter reunion.
She's in another country in
Yeah.
a closet that's well lit with one producer.
And she got like 4 lines in this
Yeah.
whole thing. So it's a strange thing. And like I do think though, like credit, you have to give credit where credit is due. But hey, that's my point of view, and I'm not here to argue her
He's not
weird
here to
thing
argue.
where she's really after a certain community and really wants them to stop being them, which I saying that out loud, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's actually that's upsetting.
Yeah, that's shitey.
That's shitty. That's
Yeah.
shitty behavior. So there you have it. Harry Potter reunion.
Yeah, loved it.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What do you guys think? Leave your thoughts down below. We'll see you guys soon. We'll do Fantastic Beasts. Check out the pod. Thanks for supporting us. And we'll see you guys soon. Bye.